Bucks are reportedly finalizing a one-year, $9 million deal with Ndamukong Suh to bring the defensive tackle back to Tampa next season. Suh joins Shaq Barrett, Chris Godwin, Lavonte David, and Rob Gronkowski as key free agents the Bucks have been able to bring back in hope of repeating as Super Bowl champs. They said they wanted to do it. Boy, they're getting these names done. Shannon, how important was this signing for the Bucks?
Well, Skip, he is important because he had played really well. And I had Ndamukong Suh on my podcast about a month ago, Skip. And he made it clear he wanted to come back, but he wouldn't be willing to give no deals. And he got what he wanted, $9 million fully guaranteed with an opportunity to make even more in incentives. And that's the thing, because very few times, Skip, when you win the Super Bowl, are you in position? Normally you're strapped. You're up against it, and you can't rework enough contracts to bring all the guys that you would want back, even if you wanted to bring them back. But Tampa has done a good job of managing the money, extending guys with portable years, getting Lavonte David to re-sign. Shaq Barrett, they gave him a premium penny.
They did.
And he's in Texas. He thought about it. Yeah, I can go somewhere, Cincinnati, and maybe make $20 million a year. But that's the same thing I'm making here when you think about state tax that I'm not getting taken out. I'm playing with Tom Brady. I'm playing on grass. I'm playing in the warm weather. I like that. I'm going to stay here. So give Tampa kudos for being able to do what Bruce Arians said they were going to do standing on that stage. Your butt isn't going anywhere. Your butt isn't going anywhere. Your butt isn't going anywhere. And you think, I'm thinking, yeah, that's hyperbole. But these guys are going to want premium pennies. And they paid them basically, Skip, I believe they played them pretty close to what they could have got a little more. But at the end of the day, it's a little bit more money in losing because you're not going to win to the level that you're winning in Tampa. Was it worth it? And it seems to me every guy, Lavonte David said, no, I'd rather win and take a few dollars less. I'd rather, Shaq Barrett, I'd rather win, take a few dollars less. Ndamukong Suh, I would take less. And so it bodes really well for them, Skip, because I don't know if we've seen a situation like this. Where you win this many games, you win the Super Bowl, and you get all your key cogs back. You covered the Cowboys. People was raiding them left and right. They took their linebackers. They took their corners. They took their everything. They just robbed them. Alvin Harper. They robbed them blind, Skip.
But even then, free agency wasn't as free as it is now.
And so now, it's gone. So I think this is unbelievable for Tampa to be able to resign, especially every key guy that they wanted to keep, Skip, they were able to keep.
I am shocked by this one. I am pleasantly shocked.
Even though you said Suh was probably gone.
I think we agree. He's got a little mercenary in him. This was the key piece that I thought would exit stage left or right to the highest bidder, to a much higher bidder. He's still playing Ndamukong Suh at a very high level.
He is.
He was an anchor of that line. He's extremely valuable. To me, he's even more valuable than the skill pieces that are still out there. Antonio Brown, not that I love Antonio, but could you go forward without him and be okay? Remember, James White's still sitting out there on the market. Could they just plug in James White to sort of that role? Sure. Fournette, James White could also replace Fournette. He's still sitting out there unsigned. I'm sure they're trying to figure out a way to get both those players under this cap that shrinks now by the signing. But this is a Tom Brady strikes again. He has created such a strong bond in that locker room that I do believe that unity mattered a little bit in the end. It might have been a deciding factor. Like you always say, and I don't disagree, money talks in the end. It's all about, you said Shaq wants to get paid, and he went so far as to say, I want to break the bank. Lavonte David deserved to get paid because he's been doing this for a long time at a very high level, and he was a dominating force in the Super Bowl. So on the open market, he could really get paid, and he stayed for very good money. Not great money, but good money.
Good money.
Shaq got great money. He maybe not top dollar, like you said. Maybe you could go to Cincinnati for, I don't know.
20 mil.
Whatever, 3 or 4 more million. But no state tax.
Warm weather, Tom Brady.
And incentives. And Suh's got incentives. I don't know exactly how high it could take him. But the point is, these guys really had fun doing this. These guys really believe they have a great shot at running it back, to borrow Kansas City's phrase going into last year. So to me, I just can't. Suh was the odd man out. I just thought, and I got to the point where I gave up on Suh in Tampa Bay, and I was campaigning. My Cowboys could use the interior of the line. They were as bad a run defense. Actually, Houston's was slightly worse statistically,
right.
but could they use Suh just to anchor the line? Sure, the Cowboys could. And remember, I said, well, take a shot.
Well, Skip, they didn't even want to pay $5 million for a safety,
No,
so you know they were paying $9 million for a D.
Right. But Suh's a big guy.
Yeah, I believe you're different. He's a different man.
He's legit.
Yeah.
Like he's not just another Keanu Neal
Right.
or Malik Hooker
Right.
or KZ or these safeties that are out on the market.
He's still an impactful player.
Yes, he's a very impactful player. So all of a sudden, you get your horses back because I didn't know. Were they going to lose Shaq Barrett? Well, now you got Shaq back, JPP obviously coming off the other edge, and Suh anchoring. You're in a pretty good spot, right?
Yeah, and a great spot.
And Levante's still there at linebacker, and Devin White isn't going anywhere.
Right.
And the secondary is so young, will only get better. So their defense could now make a case that it could equal the offense going into next year, and it didn't all year until you could say the New Orleans playoff game.
Right.
It did not live up to the
Skip,
offense.
and that's the thing, is that once you see the level of success, and that's normally what happened with defenses, is that once they see the level of success that they enjoyed, they wanted more. You look at the Steelers. You go back to the 70s, Skip. Once they were like, hold on, we got something special here. We can dominate. Obviously, it wasn't no free agent, so you kept those guys together. You look at the great defenses. If once they have success, and if you can keep these guys together, now Denver was a different animal because, you know, free agency, they started to go, D. Ware was all up there in age, and you lost Malik Jackson, and you lost Talib, and you lost some of those other guys. But if they can keep this thing together for another year or two, they got a great chance to be a major, major threat in the NFC. And all things related to a Super Bowl will probably have to go. You have to I don't care what the Super Bowl going to be held at. You're probably going to have to detour in Tampa. You're going to have to go lay over in Tampa one night and take care of them.
You ready to use the D word as in dynasty?
Oh, there you go.
Well, are you?
That was a TV show.
Are you ready? Well, it was. It was a good one.
It was a very good one.
Are you ready to say that guy named Brady, that guy who wears 12 in pewter now, might think about 45, 46, 47?
But I believe, I don't know what Foxbet was thinking, but I do believe they should be the favorite to repeat. I understand you got, and Kansas City's made some great moves. They signed Chris Long, they signed Joe Tooney, and, you know, they're in the running for Trent Williams. But, you know, they're going to, you know, see what happens in the draft. But Tampa should be the favorite.
Okay. So now the new X factor in Tampa Bay is 1AB, Antonio Brown. And I told you the last 2 days that we discussed this. On that front, the silence is deafening coming from Tampa Bay because there's no news is bad news. It's like I don't hear a peep about it.
Right.
And I wonder if he wants to get paid.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
And I talked about Baltimore still has that glaring need for somebody, and his cousin is Hollywood. And I'm pretty sure he and Lamar, because of their Miami connections, I think they're very close.
Right.
Now, again, is Lamar Tom Brady throwing the football? Obviously, he's not. And does AB have a very close connection with Brett? Yes, he does, obviously. But AB is a superstar receiver, or at least in his mind he still is. He was for a while.
He was.
And he started to look like one in the playoffs to me. He started to bounce back into that.
He could still make plays, Skip. But the days of AB getting 150 to 170 targets, those days are over. And what happens is that, okay, I bided my time. I was the good AB for 8 weeks.
He was.
Now, I want to get paid. I got a Super Bowl. Skip, I just don't know if that $8 million, $10 million payday is going to be out there. Do I think AB is better than some of these receivers? They got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I do. But his behavior has put him in such a precarious situation that people don't trust him. The only people that really trust him was Tampa. And Tampa says, well, okay, we got you. We're going to give you $1 million. Okay, incentive, you know, this many catches and this many yards. You behave yourself. We go to the playoffs. You can make this. It seems to me Russell is willing to trust him. But can Russell have the kind of impact or influence on him that Tom Brady can? Well, can anybody?
Can anybody? I say no. And I also say, remember, T.Y. Hilton is still out there,
Yes.
unsigned. Sammy Watkins, unsigned. Golden Tate, unsigned.
Right.
I think all three of those guys still have some football
Right.
left. I know they've all had their issues, injuries, whatever.
At this point, now,
decline.
Skip, you're looking at a one-year deal.
Yep.
You're looking at one-year deals
Okay.
now. You got to, and I would be willing to roll the dice. I would be willing to roll the dice, but I'm going to a situation. If I'm going to take minimum, I'm going to take minimum from someone that has a very good quarterback.
Yep.
Because I believe I can put up the numbers, and as we get closer to 2023, when that new TV money hit in, I'll be able to strike it rich. So I would have no problem playing. Yeah, I would want the long-term security, but if that's not there, I'm willing to roll the dice and bet on me. I'm always going to bet on black. That'd be me.
Okay. So I remind everybody, just 1 year ago, Tampa Bay was 7-9, known as the Succaneers. Now we're talking about dynasty.
Ain't nobody talking about dynasty.
Dynasty.
You said dynasty. I said they should be
Dynasty.
the favorite. I ain't said nobody no dynasty. That's not what you said.
Dynasty. Okay, one guy, I want to keep you guys in the loop here. One guy that was rumored